Hello guys, welcome back to another live stream. So I just want to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. Obviously, as always, every single day back to tell you what's going on in the market. But right now we're seeing massive amounts of accumulation of Bitcoin at these slightly lower prices, which is always a good news. It's always a good sign for me as a crypto investor. Very much like us seeing this level of accumulation at these lower prices. Also, I hope that the audio is better today. So I've kind of swapped out my headphones for my normal mic. So like the video if it is better. Also subscribe to the channel. But I'm not going to waste too much time, guys. Let's just jump straight in. Let's have a look, see what we're looking at. Boom. As you can see, we're sitting around about, obviously, we're at the 19,500 mark, but we're very much just kind of flapping, in and around top level 21,750-ish, bomb once, bomb twice. And then kind of the lower bound, obviously around this, we see massive buying volume. So I don't suspect we're going to see much of a push below this level unless we see a couple of tests at around this level here at the 18,000 level, which I do think we're probably going to get to. My suspicion is that we're going to see more movement to the downside as we have this uncertainty as to what's going to happen later on in the week with this non-farm payroll. This is happening on Friday, guys. First Friday of every month, as you can see. So I think there's going to be, people don't really know. And because people don't know, they don't want to be in risky assets, which will also give me the assumption that we're going to see a little bit more of a downside to the NASDAQ, which, as you can see, we're already having here. So I don't have the typical, should we call it, analysis from our friend AJ, but we're still, as he mentioned, in the same kind of like charts that are just bringing us lower and lower. We might have a little bit of kind of some touches every now and again, a little bit of a fake out on this side, but we're still in that lower trend. We haven't quite hit the bottom. And again, we've seen, just as we saw with Bitcoin, that we will have a little bit more downside. But anyway, let's jump in. Currently, crypto markets, let me refresh so it's immediate right now. Not looking great. It's not looking great, guys. We are down overall, but we kind of expect that. We're in a bear market. Like, what more do you want? Like, you can't not be down in a bear market. So this is kind of where we are. But look, we're seeing that Bitcoin price spikes to 20K as whales bought. Bitcoin confirms support. This is really the key thing here, guys. We're seeing a lot of support at these lower levels. It's at these lower levels, guys. We are seeing a lot of support. This is one thing that I really want everybody to be aware of, is that there is a lot of support and there's a lot of indication that we are seeing accumulation at these lower levels. So new whale level has formed. Over the weekend's dump, the accumulation is quite large, over 100,000 Bitcoin, and happened on the 18th of June. So we see this level around here. But then also when we are at these lower levels, we see people, look, they're happy to buy it at 19,000, and then again, big pressure when we drop down to our lowest level at around about like 18 or something like this. So we're seeing a lot of interest around these levels. Also, again, same accumulation behavior across 3 cycles. Shame I didn't see it earlier. And as you see, this is what we have here. So similar to how accumulation starts early, distribution starts early in the upward trend and bottoms at the peak in price. So you can see this here. The blue line is the price of Bitcoin. And then the green line is the 1-year hodl wave. Then we have a price peak, as you see in brown or orange, whatever this is, and a price bottom. But as the bottom kind of comes down, we see, what do we see? We see this. We see a nice little 1-year hodl wave begin to increase. So we're seeing this. And then, we see again, bomb, 1-year hodl wave, bomb. So where are we going to see it this cycle? Hopefully, I think we might be close. I think we might be closer to this level. They're not going to be as close. This obviously was very close. And again, here, I think we're going to be further away. That trend of being further away from the blue and the green line, again, this was again further away, the blue and the green line, bigger distance. And I think we're going to see that again in this cycle. So it's another kind of instance that we are in fact lower, or I should say closer to that bottom level. Oh, look, Bitcoin balances on exchanges still dropping. Some people understand that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. And I think there's like, what, 20? No, not 27. I think it's like 57. Let me know down in the comments. Is it 57 millionaires in the world? I'm pretty sure that's where it is, because everyone's saying, look, there's 21 million Bitcoin, but there's 57 millionaires. So not every millionaire can have a full Bitcoin. So it's going to get to a stage, as long as Bitcoin begins or continues its path on actually mass, what should we call it? Adoption, democratization, all of these kind of good Asian words. We're going to see more of this happening in the Bitcoin space, and that's going to lead to more people wanting to own at least one Bitcoin or a certain number of Satoshis. And we're seeing this, the price, or I should say the price coming down is very much in conjunction with the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges, because as we see at these lower prices, people are taking their Bitcoin off of exchanges in order to keep it, because they have more of that kind of hodl mentality. As we see the Bitcoin price drop drastically here, or dramatically, either one of the two, as we see that price drop very, very dramatically, we see that the exchange numbers went up because everybody wanted to sell it. Now we're at an inverse relationship, where in fact people are now, because the price is continuing to come down, they're taking it off of exchanges, because look, they've either sold it, and that's fantastic, or people are now buying the dip. Hence why the number of Bitcoin on exchanges is going down, because we're seeing people buying the dip. And you can see that by Bitcoin number of addresses holding 1+ coins just reached an all-time high of almost 900,000. This is very good news, guys. It's very, very good news. It's only continuing to go up. People are accumulating, even if they're holding just one Bitcoin. This is what we really like to see. And hopefully, in conjunction with the amount of Bitcoin coming off of the exchanges, we have a lot more hodlers in our ecosystem, really. But the number of wallets holding Bitcoin steadily climbing an all-time high since November, and that's highlighted here. So the number of wallets holding Bitcoin going to an all-time high, guys. This is really, really good. As you see, 2018 crash saw drop in demand, but no sign of adoption slowing in 2022. So, there was a lot less people kind of holding less, or kind of selling all their Bitcoin, I should say. But you then see this as a steady tick upwards, where yes, it's a bear market, but people are still accumulating. And I think we're still in that stage where people are accumulating. Things are very different now. People are not just looking at this as, just a speculative asset that we don't know anything about. I want to move into this, where analysts who nailed the May 2021 Bitcoin crash says Bitcoin flashing major bear market bottom signal. This is what I'm saying, guys. I feel like the bottom is very close. I can almost smell it. I can almost taste it. Doesn't taste very good, because I'm currently very, very poor, because Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market is down. But it feels good. It might smell real bad, but it feels good. Let me know if you know what I mean. Drop a like on the video. It's really not great. Drop that like now if you kind of feel my pain. But look, they're going through a couple of other different moving averages, for example. So yes, we're currently below the 200-week moving average. And so this, it basically, the Bitcoin price perfectly hit the 200 moving average in both the 15 and 18 bear market cycles. We're now below that, which is not good. We do still have a couple of indications saying that the bottom of Bitcoin is going to be about $15,500. But another bit of, I guess, positive reinforcement for the space is that the UK government seeks public input on DeFi taxation. Guys, one thing I'm going to tell you, everyone just message HMRC. I will forward you the email. You can forward it to HMRC because we're just going to say, no tax. Don't tax me. No, it's fine. We don't need tax. The UK does well enough on its own, just get more tax from other people. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You want to be the center of crypto. You want to be the center of, finance. You already do quite well, the UK. They have a great system for finance. But if they tax crypto, then it's not quite good enough. So, they do want to become, like I said, that global powerhouse in crypto. But just don't tax us, guys. Don't tax us. But anyway, no, if you want to have an input on a serious note, I recommend you go to this website, as you see, gov.uk, but also, kind of, I don't know what the / blah, blah, blah. There's obviously going to be a / blah, blah, blah. But they're seeking input from investors, professionals, and organizations involved in DeFi related activities such as technology and financial services company. This is where, guys, we're going to have a little bit of compromising because we're going to see that, yes, the UK and every government worldwide are going to want to tax crypto. But the question is, how do they do that if they tax capital gains, income, everything from crypto? An entrepreneur or a big crypto investor it's just not going to work with them. They're going to work in a different country and set up their business in a different country. So why don't they just set up their company in the UK? Well, they will if they have lower taxes, etc. And so this is really where the countries now are beginning to have that fight, and people are worried about being left behind. And guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Celsius, they're because they cut all of their withdrawals, their swaps, and also any transfers, they do now have a little bit more money because people are not taking money out. And people are arguably putting money in. They are now able to pay off more Bitcoin so that the liquidation price falls below after they've repaid $120 million in debt. This is a very positive sign for Celsius, but to be honest, I don't really care about Celsius. I don't have any money in Celsius, and unless you do, I don't care about them. If you do have money in them, then I care about them. But ultimately, I don't have any money in there. But I think it's good for the crypto market. I think it's good for the DeFi market. I think it's good for anybody who's in the lending space, in the crypto market right now, because I think it's going to be very, very key for the survival of pretty much all crypto and all DeFi, that these companies are either saved by an external source or they save themselves, because that's really what it's all going to come down to. And like I said, guys, just recapping here, end of the week, non-farm payroll, NFPs coming out, numbers going to be absolutely massive. We're in the cusp of a recession. This is what everyone's talking about. This is why some of the risk on assets are down, because everybody's worried about this recession fears. Is it going to happen? Most likely. But if we see, and look, guys, this is going to be, it's going to be a weird one, because if we see 270,000 jobs added, that's good for the economy. Hey, that's not what the Federal Reserve wants to see. It's not what the market wants to see. If we have a strong economy, i.e. this number is more than expected, i.e. the economy gets stronger, I think that we're going to have risk on markets come back. We might have an initial bomb, we might have an initial pump, because, hey, the economy's great, investors will invest again. But I think then swiftly we're going to have a pullback of the risk on assets, because the question is then going to be, well, okay, Federal Reserve, you said that unemployment was going to be at 3.9% this year. No, 3.7% this year, 3.9% next year, and then 4.1% in 2024. So if we have an above average print, this is going to be good in the short term. Investors will be like, whoa, we've got a great economy. But then it's going to kind of dawn on them, hang on, well, what's the Federal Reserve going to have to do? Because they know they need to bring inflation down, and they need to bring employment down and lower the GDP. So how are they going to do that? This is very much my assumption. So I think like a forecast, if this forecast was at like 350, I'd be very confident because we're going to underperform, which yes is bad for the short term, but it's good for the long term. This is my assumption, guys. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think that this is going to be any better? Like, should we have a higher level of unemployment or a lower level? And look, guys. And I don't want to sound uh, like a a male genital organ right now. But for the market, it's going to be better to have more people without jobs, which I know sounds really bad. And obviously, I want everybody to be able to have jobs and the economy to do well. But just looking at this from a Fed standpoint, the Fed is going to want much lower employment levels. Like I said, the target is 4.1%. We're currently at about 3.6 or something like this. So unemployment needs to go up in order for them to feel as though they have confidence. And once the investors have confidence that the Fed know what they're doing and they're getting unemployment up and they're getting inflation down, then more money will flood into the market. But until then, that's not going to happen. So, it's very, very sad. Sorry to all of the Americans who are going to fall a victim to this, but that's the full explanation as to what I'm looking out for this week, guys. Bitcoin signals are good, but I think we're going to have a bad week. A lot of stagnation, a lot of nothing happening on that Wednesday, Thursday, and especially Friday. But then you have my prediction as to what's going to happen later on in the week. I'll update you tomorrow. I'll come back. I'll give you everything that I think is going to happen, and also just give you a quick update on what's happening on chain and also in any other major projects at the end of the week. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also then come back to us tomorrow and we'll drop you some very, very sexy TA as well. All right, guys, thank you very much. Take care. Thanks for watching. I've been Ben. You've been great.